What is qualitative research? As per the qualitative research definition, it is exploratory research that is used to understand the reasons and opinions of individuals. The purpose of qualitative research is to comprehend the main problem and develop ideas and methods for future research. Researchers collect data of the targeted population, place, or event by using different types of qualitative research analysis. On the next few slides are the most commonly used qualitative research types. Grounded theory method, an approach that provides an explanation, reasons, or theory behind that event. It aims to develop new theories by collecting and analyzing data about a phenomenon. In a grounded theory method, researchers make use of various data collection techniques. It includes observation, interview, literature review, and relevant document analysis. The content analysis in ground theory is specific to incidents and not individual behaviors. For example, this method can be used to conduct surveys of large populations. These surveys can be helpful in demonstrating why, in the case of my research proposal, teachers are stressed and their methods for coping through the stress. The data collected through surveys can help districts improve and maintain teacher satisfaction and loyalty. Case study method. The case study approach occurs over extended periods of time to compile information. It involves an in-depth understanding of a subject such as an event, person, or business. Similarly, the data is collected from various sources, including interviews and science. Therefore, they can be descriptive or explanatory in nature. This method focuses on the how and why research questions, the behaviors observed, the context and understanding of the phenomena. For example, a case study approach can be used to show solutions to teachers' level of stress. By examining the individual's interviews, the researcher will be able to compile the information into a more suitable length of information. This information can then be introduced to teachers. It would be considered an enlightening to the problem at hand. Ethnography method. The ethnography method works to provide specific explanations of human societies and cultures. It is said to be one of the most popular techniques used for qualitative research. The work required for this method relies on having the researcher to get involved in the environment and live with the focus group. Such interaction is done to understand goals, motivations, challenges, and cultures of the individual. This method can also be used to understand shared experiences and lifestyles of the studied group. Rather than conducting surveys and interviews, the researcher would experience the environment as act as an observer, as a result being the primary data collection method. In addition, the researcher may also conduct appropriate interviews of those who have also studied the same environment in the past. The ethnography method is difficult if the researcher is not familiar with the social morals and language of the group. As a result, interpretations by outsiders may lead to confusion. For example, an approach to understanding teachers' stress and their coping methods may be to observe their daily lives and activities, taking note on how they interact with the students and their colleagues. As a teacher myself, this method is not the most reasonable as I am biased to the observations and classroom procedures. As a member of this group myself, I would not be an appropriate researcher, furthermore causing the study to not be reliable due to the validity of the research observed and collected. Phenomenological method. The phenomenological method is used to study phenomena such as events, situations, or experiences. It is the best to approach to describe something from different angles and add to existing knowledge. This method focuses on subjective experiences. A researcher may use different methods to gather data and understand the phenomenon. These methods include interviews, visiting places, observations, surveys, and reading documents. This technique considers how participants feel about things during an event or activity. For example, this method can be used to understand why teachers feel a particular topic is more stressful than another. It helps to identify the reason behind the rise in the number of teachers leaving the field of education in the last few years, as well as help to understand how we might keep more teachers in this field. Narrative method. The narrative method is a form of inquiry in which stories themselves become the raw data. Researchers use this method to understand how participants conduct stories and narratives of their own personal experiences. That means, there is a dual layer of interpretation in narrative analysis. First, the research participants interpret their own lives through narrative. Then the researcher interprets the construction of that narrative. Narrative inquiry relies on the written or spoken words or visual representation of individuals. This type of inquiry observes what and how something is said. They can be considered real-world measures to investigate real-life problems. This approach has been used in many disciplines to learn about the culture, historical experiences, identity, and lifestyles. For example, spoken narratives such as interviews can help give insight into the problem at hand. By using teachers' personal accounts of their daily lives, we can get a better understanding of why the teachers are encountering stress. As a researcher, they can interpret the stresses to help determine coping methods for these teachers on a more personal level. Historical method. The historical method describes past events to understand present scenarios and predict future choices. It answers the research questions based on hypothetical ideas. This technique uses multiple resources to test the idea for any potential challenges. It also requires the development of the research outline to organize the whole process. This method presents its findings in the form of a biography. For example, this form of historical methods can be used to create brochures and flyers targeting teachers to engage in stress relieving strategies.